If you're like most people, you've watched The Christmas Story on television, where Ralphie's mom asks the question,
"What would you like for Christmas?"
Horrified, I heard myself blurt it out.
"I want an official Red Ryder Carbine Action 2-inch range ball air rifle."
Ooh.
No, shoot your eye out.
If you'd like to know the real story behind the Red Ryder BB gun, you'll enjoy this video Sarah and I filmed at Pagosa Springs, Colorado, in the studio where artist Fred Harman created Red Ryder. Today, Sarah and I are at the Fred Harman Western Art Museum in Pagosa Springs, Colorado. This is an interesting place for artists because if you've ever heard of the Red Ryder BB gun or the Red Ryder and Little Beaver comic strip, this is where that all was created. The comic strips that ran for years and years were created by Fred Harman Jr. right here on the property. There's some interesting old buildings here, and I'm going to choose one of them. But right over there is the Fred Harman Art Museum. Sarah's going to take you on a tour there with Fred Harman Jr.'s son, Fred Harman III.
III is the son of Fred Harman II, who was a marvelous Western artist. Fred had an illustrious career for the past 30 years in New York City, working with television, and then he has retired, or semi-retired, back here to Pagosa Springs.
Yeah, it was kind of nice to get back. My granddad homesteaded out here back in, they came in 1888, I think. Back in those early days, my dad was always drawing pictures of what was going on. The Little Beaver was in the earlier comic, but they regenerated the whole thing in 1938, and turned out to be one of the most successful comics in the country, and actually is worldwide. He kept the comics going till 1962, and then after all those years of deadlines, and he didn't have a writer, anchors and things like that. He was kind of a loner when it came to that. He went back into oils and started trying to sell them a little bit. And basically there were telephone orders. People would call him up for a painting, and he'd find out what kind of a scene they may want. And he'd whip up a pencil sketch and send it in the mail to them to get their okay. But he did about 400 major oils in those last 18 years.
Really? Let's take a look at the
Sure.
studio.
Yeah.
Is that just around the corner?
Yeah, just around the corner, right over there.
Well, Fred, I can see this is your dad's easel, and his paints are laid out here, and his palette, and brushes, and even a mining pan there, a gold mining pan.
Yeah, he had a lot of brushes, and gave me an easy out on Christmas time, trying to figure out what kind of present to give him. I'd send him some more brushes. But this is the last oil he started to work with, and had it only about halfway done. He was going to make some changes on it, but he ground out quite a few out of this room. Here he has the north light behind me here, which is it's amazing how color changes from in the morning all the way to the evening. It'll shift quite a few degrees, and so he only had a tight window of time to really get his color right.
He must have been very efficient with his time.
Yeah, he was pretty dedicated in his work. He started out pretty early in the morning, and he would do pen and inks and watercolors in the evening after dinner. And Because of the comic strips and the pressure of meeting deadlines, he would pretty well utilize his time, maxed it out.
Yes, and I've noticed a lot of photographs
Yeah.
of you, some of your mom. It looks like you had a pet deer at one time.
Yeah, we had a deer that was out the ranch, and the Fish and Game people said to my dad one day, he said, you can't keep a deer like, here. And my dad said, I don't have a deer, I don't keep one. And about that time, a deer walked out of the house, had a big red bandana on it.
A family pet.
Yeah.
Now, I've also noticed some wonderful black and white photos on the
Yeah.
wall with famous people like John Wayne.
Yeah, John Wayne. They played a lot of humorous tricks on each other over the years.
Oh, like what?
Well, it's hard to say.
Okay. And now, did John Wayne take a nap somewhere in your house?
Oh yeah, I used to nap on that couch in there all the time, and he and my mother would sit there and watch television while my dad was working, and he was quite a nice fellow to have around.
You know, when you mentioned the word Red Ryder earlier,
Yeah.
I was thinking I had heard that in a movie.
Yeah, the Christmas Story.
And that's when little Ralphie that's
Yeah.
what he wants for Christmas more than anything.
Yeah.
And I see you have some original packaging over there.
In fact, Daisy Air Rifles is going to have a little interesting thing for Christmas, and I wound up by autographing 250 boxes.
So when this was originally produced, this was only $2.95?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it came with a bunch of BBs too. But they were a little more powerful in those early days. Up there is the very first one that came off the production line, and that was in 1938.
Fred Harman III, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me. I really enjoyed it, and you're quite an inspiration.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your time.
Very good.
Thanks a lot.
Righto. Thanks for coming.
You bet.